watching us. It's New Dawn on the People's Daily Ogtv. Too far, Richard. One of the big issues in the Nigerian space at the moment is the issue of constitutional amendment exercise being embarked upon by the National Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Reps. And this morning we want to look at issues emanating from this exercise. We have with us this morning an Abeokuta-based popular lawyer, Barrister Patrick. Barrister, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, dear.
Thank you so much. Let's quickly start from this controversial point of view. The governor of Rivers State, Wike, has come out to say that exercise is a futility. What do you have to say about that, first and foremost?
Well, you see, that's his own opinion. That's a good thing about democracy. Well, but then, being an insider now in quote, he should know what he's saying.
That but is it something that Nigeria desires, or Nigeria should desire or deserves at this point in time?
Well, you see, the constitution is a living thing. Okay, so and it's subject to amendments from every now and then. But then it depends on what do you have in mind in amending, or what part of the constitution do you want to amend? You don't just wake up and okay, because you want to, for certain reasons, you now want to tinker. Okay. But
over the years, there have been a lot of discontents about the content of the Nigerian constitution. From almost everywhere.
That has been our makeup. We feel discontent to virtually everything. We condemn everything. Constitution, you say, oh, it was made by the military. Oh, it's not made by the people. But then, mind you, the military that made it are also Nigerians. Okay? Now we feel discontent with everything. And in actual fact, we've not even given the 1999 Constitution, we've not even practiced it up to 80% of the provisions of that Constitution. But we condemn it. Whereas in other countries, look at a country like Japan. The Constitution Japan is using today is the Constitution written for them by the United States of America after they were conquered after the Civil War. Up till now, they are still thinking of tinkering a particular clause. But yet, look at where Japan is from since after the Second World War till now.
So what you're trying to say in essence is that it's not so much about the Constitution.
It's not so much about the Constitution, but it's the operators.
The operators of the Constitution.
Of the Constitution.
Okay, so what must change in the attitude of the operators of the Constitution to allow us get to the desired, El Dorado that we all, clamor to get to?
Keep to the spirit and letters of the Constitution first. It is when you've tried it and then maybe you are having hiccups here and then you think of that's what a country like India is doing. India, the constitution they also have today is a constitution that I think that was 1948. They are still maintaining that constitution. And that was a constitution we practiced between 1963 and 66. We only practiced that constitution barely 3 years. But till today, India is using that constitution.
All right, when you check some of the amendment that is taking place, they talked about 55 of them, and of course you have the devolution of power. Also, you have bills being proposed by different members, and they talked about devolution of power. They talked about state police, and yes, recently you get to hear the president is particular stand on state police, and that is not what is important. So with that, gesture or body language of Mr. President with the issue of state policing, are you sure that they can actually do something different from what the president said?
It goes back to what Wike is saying, that they are wasting their time. Because that is the fundamental aspect of that constitution you have to look at. Look at the insecurity in the country, look at everywhere. This is a time we will need the state police more than ever before. Now, look at the state governors. In Southwest here, they are Amoteku. What can they do? There's a limit to what they can do. Now you are passing law banning grazing. Who is going to enforce that law? The same federal government, police, that is taking shots from Abuja. That is the problem.
Okay, yeah, that's the quest for federalism, operational federalism, and fiscal federalism. You know, but that has been a very big one in the constitution over the years, isn't it?
Yes. And that is why we are where we are, because we've not been able to practice fiscal federalism. Even to an extent, even the people themselves they have themselves to blame, because they don't even, to an extent. Okay, I want to give you an example. Imagine people now calling for INEC to take over conduct of local government elections.
They're already calling for it.
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. So why should you call INEC to take over conduct of elections?
Yeah, yes, you earlier talked about the operators of the Constitution, and I think it was one of the things the President mentioned, that if we are going to do or adopt a state policing system, is it the same governors that we have issue, you know, given autonomy to the local government? Is it the same this and that? And I think that has been his own argument. So if we want to take it beyond those arguments and make it stand, if state policing is what we need, will the operators act differently if that
You see, the
is
thing
something
is,
that comes
the
to
thing
light?
is, you see, if you don't want to do anything, there must be 1,001 reasons for you not to do it. It's beautiful argument. Okay. Now, look at even to what extent now is the federal police, which means what they are against is what they are doing with the federal police. Now, a crime is committed somewhere here in Ogun State or any local government, anywhere in the part of the country, a policeman on the road arrests. Before you know what is what, there's a call from Abuja, release, and it's released immediately. That's the problem. They all know what they are afraid of. But unfortunately, we the citizens, we are docile, keep watching them and clapping. But if the citizens should come up and say, come, this is what we want, believe you me, Buhari will have no option. Now look at the case of the Electoral Act, where the National Assembly did one very good thing in the country, insisting that parties must. What happened? They said, oh, INEC cannot go around with this and conduct it. That was a beautiful reason they used in killing that very beautiful law.
But that is also what the assembly members are trying to look into, you know, in part talking about the Constitution and of course talking about the electoral bill. You know, the argument has always been about the direct mode of primaries that was, you know, fixated in that bill, and the president and of course his team said they have to have options. This is democracy and all of that. So I also want to take you to another one. The diaspora voting right is one of the things that the amendment is also looking into. The diasporas, they also have the right to actually vote in an election to decide who.
Do you know the problem?
So how do you think?
You see, most of these amendments are cosmetic. You see, you've not even finished the internal. You are not talking of the diaspora. people are talking about the conduct of the election internally. You are talking of. Let us get the thing straight here.
Okay.
Actually, beyond all these amendments of tinkering with the Constitution, what we need basically is very strong institutions. The INEC we are talking about, believe you me, every election INEC has conducted has always ended up in court. Not only in court, from here down to the Supreme Court. And it has gotten to a stage that even if the Supreme Court gives a judgment, the man in the village is laughing. Come to my own Imo State. They will call you the governor there, who's Supreme Court governor. In other words, even the people in themselves, they've lost confidence in an institution like the Supreme Court. And that's very unfortunate.
Now, let me take quickly back to the first point that you made, and that's the point of implementation or implementers. In a country that is deeply tribalized or ethnicized like Nigeria, do you think we can actually compare ourselves with the likes of India?
Brother Labi, there is no country that is more tribalized than India. Go to India. In fact, not even tribalized. India is a country. Look, in India you have caste system. Do you have caste system in Nigeria? So what are you saying? Brother Labi, you are Yoruba and Igbo. Did they even occur to you when you were inviting me that you are inviting an Igbo man? Our problem is not tribe. I have stayed in this state for 28 years now. I tell you, I have access to any house I want to, without any restriction. It's when it gets to issue of politics, When it suits them, that's when they now start fanning the embers of politics. They start fanning the embers of religion. Do you even know what I worship? At the time they invited me. So that's the problem. But by the time I now want to go and serve at the local government. Oh, come, you see, this man, he has one Amadioha. He has one Amadioha. So that's just a problem. But I think we should look beyond all those things. By the time you go to Kuto market to want to buy your pepper, the woman selling you, do you know if she's an Ifa or this? It doesn't matter to you. It doesn't go to you. So why does it matter now when it comes to politics?
When it comes to politics, like you said, it matters, and people will say that it's the only instrument for politicians to be able to get their way. For now, I don't know how we can get past it. It's easy to say that people should look beyond that. How do we move beyond it? Who controls that?
We can if we want to.
Okay.
We can if we want to. And that's why you see the press have to come in, enlighten. Now look at during the SARS. Those guys was there any issue of Igbo, Yoruba or Hausa? Was there any issue of Muslim or Hausa? But everybody took up, no answers. In that same way, if the populace should come, like, look, we are talking about even tinkering with the Constitution amendment as if it's a magic wand. When you amend the Constitution, everything will be. Look at even the provisions of the Constitution already. Look, this issue of local government. Tell me which part of Nigeria that has an effective local government system. All of them has been emasculated. But yet, under the Constitution, the local government still remains the third tier of government. And if the local government had been functioning the way they are supposed to function, most of the problems we are having today will be reduced. Issue of road maintenance and everything, they are basically local government jobs. Issue of refuse disposal, they are basically local government. But what happens in a situation where now the states, in fact, tell me which local government is functioning.
Then the issue of financial autonomy for the local government also in the Constitution. You see, using the issue of financial in Constitution, when the Constitution says, okay, come, there is revenue allocation, for instance, okay, how is shared, federal, state, local government. So what else do you want? Give local government theirs. Let them do what they want to do with it. But the only thing is hold them accountable. Hold the state governments accountable. Hold the federal government accountable. But then who does that? So it again comes down to the actors, the governors. I mean, if you say local governments are not really functioning the way they should function all over Nigeria, and what they complain, because we've also had a few friends that run local government, chairmen, secretaries, and stuff, councillors, and all they complain about is funds. You know, they're always accusing the state governors or the state government of keeping their funds and all that.
And the state government are accusing the federal. You see, that's the problem. You see, I point at you, the other fingers are pointing at myself. You see, that's the problem. Now, the state governments, have they done what they are supposed to do? No. Now, it's because of the issue of local government fund that attracts them. Okay, let's have a joint account with the local government. From joint account, in fact, it now becomes a single account. Everything now goes into the purse of the state governor. In fact, what the so-called chairmen and the so-called councillors, they just go at the end of the day, they just collect their monthly wages and to the territory Israel. Now, issues, look at something like the advertisement rate that ought to be collected by local government. Who is collecting it?
Okay.
It's the state. And I had cause to challenge the state government under Governor, who now? The past governor, the PDP governor before all this. When they beautiful. When they came to remove my signboard that have not paid the advance on, I said, come, even as a lawyer, am I advertising? The statute allows me to put PC, Iwo, and Co. Okay, is that an advertisement? Okay, granted. For purposes of argument, let's believe it's an advertisement. Does it lie on the state government to come and demand that tax from me? I went to court, I challenged it, and the court said no. Now, look at the issue of tenement rates. Okay, the state government is collecting tenement rates under a disguise of land use charges. Do they have that right? In fact,
that's still the constitution we're
good,
talking
beautiful,
about.
beautiful. Do they have that right? In fact, there's a matter that's going to court very soon over that tenement. Do they have that right? Collecting tenement rate under any disguise? They don't.
Why are the local governments not fighting back?
The local government will not fight back because the chairman and all the local government there are what do you call it now of the governor.
Cronies.
Good. That's a problem. You cannot get down there unless the governor, unless you are anointed by the governor. That's the truth.
Okay, if that is the narrative, that the local government chairmen are definitely, allies of the governor or something, how do the people react to that? Because of course it's about the people at the end of the day. So what should the people do? What should the judiciary do? Like you said, you were able, because you were involved in a particular case, so you were able to take the government to court to clarify and of course to set the record straight. So what should other stakeholders do in this regard?
The thing is, when people talk about judiciary, judiciary is a very unique arm of government. The judiciary cannot do anything unless you, who is feeling the pinch, comes to judiciary to complain. And even another person cannot complain on your behalf. Now, if that is the aspect of the constitution they want to tinker with, I would have said beautiful. Like the issue of fundamental human rights, for instance. Now, yes, there is this public interest litigation coming up under the fundamental enforcement procedural rules. Beautiful. Anybody can. But then the constitution says it is only that person that can. So if they tinker with that and say anybody, you can just go and approach the court for your right. These are the areas they should take.
Okay, talking about the judiciary, it's also in the public notice that the judiciary is going to be unbundled. The CJN removed as FJSC, the NJI chairman, and they're talking about appeal court judges increased from 49 to 100. I heard a lot of amendment going on, and review going on in that sector as well.
Those ones are essential.
Okay.
Because of the bulky work now before the Court of Appeal. In fact, these days I have about 6-year-old cases. Court of Appeal Ibadan. I don't know why Ogun State hasn't gotten our own Court of Appeal, our own division, for goodness sake. Over 60% of appeal at Ibadan there come from Ogun State. Now when you talk, they say there are not enough justices of the Court of Appeal too. But then I don't know why such things you should limit it in the Constitution. For goodness sake, you don't limit such things in the Constitution.
Okay. So what about the aspect of the Attorney General of the Federation, also not being taken away?
It's cosmetic.
Okay.
You see, the argument whether you split office of the Attorney General and Minister, what is there to split? You see, the only thing is that the Attorney General is about the only minister that's provided for under the Constitution. Okay. So it gives the Attorney General who shall be a minister. So what are you going to split there? What are you going to split? Okay, some argue Attorney General, then who will be the Chief Law Officer, then the Minister of Justice. Who is he?
Well, the excuse given is largely for prosecution of accountability, transparency, and all of that.
Well, you see, the thing is look, what is more important is let me just digress here. I think the problem of this splitting Attorney General is just because of the conduct of the incumbent Attorney General of the Federation. Who well, he's my Attorney General. I cannot use the exact words of my mind, but it's very, very unfortunate. Sometimes I feel embarrassed as a lawyer that an Attorney General of the Federation, the kind of things that come from his mouth. The Attorney General of the Federation, in fact, the Attorney General of the Federation should be in a position to guide the president. No, Mr. President, you can't do this. Because of this is what the Constitution says. But over the years, what have we are even talking about the present Attorney General. What of Mr. Abeokuta, the Attorney General under the era of Chief Obasanjo? The court will give a judgment, the man will sit in his chambers and interpret the judgment of the court, and it is his own interpretation Chief Obasanjo will implement.
Now, does that also not take us back to the issue of it's my blood that's on that seat, so I need to support him. Bayojo, Obasanjo, Malami, Buhari.
That has always been the bane of the Nigerian society. Oh, it's my blood. And the thing will continue. Now, catch somebody who stole in the market. Now, before you know what is happening, maybe you go and bring the Kabiesi or the ballet of his place. Omowani. Now, once that Omowani, you now believe, okay, come, you sacrifice, in fact, you leave him. But instead of telling him that, come, in our family, Omowa do not steal. So, Omowani, you have stolen, get punished. If that thing happens, believe you me, Nigeria will be a different place.
Now, so it's not really about that amendment they're trying to do. Because it was also coming to my mind too. Could this just be about Malami? Now, when Malami leaves office,
another one will come. Before Malami, there were others. But unfortunately, the only thing that this one took it upon himself to be more open and come. Damn everybody, what can you do? Most attorney generals they've been doing worse things. Because yes, if you, of course, do I need to say it? We've had attorney generals in this state resign. The former attorney general Ogunde resigned his position. If you are giving an advice and the government is not taking it, you go.
Okay.
So that comes down to the personality of whoever occupies those offices.
In a way, yes.
So what does that say about law and its practice when you have characters? I'm not saying that in other professions we don't have characters who also circumvent ethics and all of that. The society expects the lawyer to be above board. Always, all the time.
Let me start by saying this. Don't forget the fact that the law itself is an ass, a very big idiot. Now, having said that, now let me approach it this way.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, do you know what 419 means?
It's a code of
beautiful
financial crimes.
Beautiful, beautiful. But the man on the street does not know. But then, how did this thing come in? He's a lawyer. Who knows it? Yes, that's the thing. You see, the thing is, the legal profession is like a fire. It now depends the end to which you put it to. If you're not careful with the gas in your house, it will burn down the whole house. But at the same time, it is with this gas you cook meals. So that's what the legal profession is.
It's like water.
Beautiful.
You drink too much of water.
Beautiful. So that is the more reason why it has to be checked. And I can tell you effectively, it is being checked. Just that most people do not know what to do when they have issues with a lawyer or whatever. Even with judges. Even with the policeman. People don't know what to do.
So
yeah, you want to say something?
Yes, I want to comment on, I want to ask a question from what you said about the judiciary and of course the characters of those that we've been having, as the Attorney General, which necessitated the splitting that they talked about in the amendment of that constitution. So if you have this kind of a thing, like you said, during the former government, what's it called?
Yes.
The former President Obasanjo's regime, where the Attorney General was doing something different from the cases, the judgment that has been given in court, and of course you have the present one also doing something, unethical. What is the stand of all other, in that your sector, that's the judiciary? Is there no checks and balances to check these people, despite the fact that they are the Attorney General of the Federation?
You see, you keep mentioning judiciary. The judiciary has no business with this. Are you with me? The judiciary, you see, the judges are just there. Sits in court until you take a case, go there, you challenge the act of the Attorney General.
Okay.
Nothing will be done in that regard. Now, or in other regards, you're talking about, you see, the Attorney General, just like the DPP. The DPP, Director of Public Prosecution, when it comes to prosecuting a crime, DPP is the almighty. He decides who to prosecute and who not to prosecute. And no matter how heinous a crime is, the DPP will just say, no, I'm not prosecuting. There's nothing anybody can do under the law, not even in the court. The judge cannot even, his hands are tied. But then, what you now do is, who appointed that DPP? Is that DPP going in line with what you have? But we have a situation where sometimes you even wonder if we have a president in this country. Yes, some people have tried, but I do not believe. But the thing is, it's like the president himself has not been sitting up to his responsibility. We have a president that was even forced into changing service chiefs. When it was so obvious that the service chiefs there were not doing what they are supposed to do. So that's just a problem. The president we have for now, Buhari is not doing enough.
Okay.
Well, 2023 is around the corner, and Nigerians are saying they can't wait for a change of guard in leadership.
Nigerians will say that in their bedrooms, and unless they what happens?
And they sit back.
They sit back.
They sit back.
And
Let's look at other recommendations from that exercise. The lawmakers have also resolved to effect a change in the constitution to outlaw parading of suspects by the police, DSS, EFCC, and the NDLA and other agencies before arraigning them in court. That's quite fashionable. Easily we parade.
You see, the thing is, because the police these days are not doing their job. Are you with me? All they need to do just get a suspect. You now want to tell the whole world that you've been very, very effective. Oh yeah, you roll out the camera and preach. No, but even do you need to put that in the constitution? You don't. Now the administration of criminal justice system in place, at least the one of Ogun State, applauds it. You do it, even the media that came to cover will pay you if at the end of the day you are tried and acquitted, discharged and acquitted. Even the media, those media houses that came to, you sue them and make your money.
So why have we not been having that?
It is because most times, yes, honestly. In fact, I'm even praying for the police to come and arrest me and parade me, put me out cover. I will sue the hell out of them. I'm serious. I will even sue the man in the house who I'm sure watched that program.
Ogtv usually covers that, and I'm sure
you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful. I'm saying it. I'm saying it.
But you're a friend of Ogtv.
I am. And that's why as a friend of Ogtv, I'm saying this now. Be careful. When police invite you to come and do some of this coverage, no, you don't go.
If the
suspect
or
is,
you keep record of it and not use it.
You don't go. It is outlawed by the administration of the criminal justice system. You don't go. You ask the same question. Have you concluded your investigation? Take him to court. If he's convicted by the court, we'll come and air it.
So that's how sanity works.
Good. And in most cases, most of those, after parading them, charge them to court now. You charge them to court, they'll tell you the IPO. You see, the investigation is still on. You have paraded them. So it's not a question of the constitution.
But is this only applicable in Nigeria? I think I see mostly media trial, in most of these countries. And
you mentioned them.
Okay, I think the most recent example is this footballer. Is he a footballer? This
what's the name now?
What's his name? Something
in South Africa?
No, in the UK.
Yes.
The Man U player.
Yes.
No, you don't. You see, there's one thing with that being paraded before the press. No press in the Western world will do such thing. Yeah, being discussed, yes. Giving it as a news. So and so person has been arrested for so and so.
And denied him of so many opportunities. So is that not?
No. It's different from being handcuffed and being paraded before the press.
But media also can actually feed on releases from the police.
It's a different thing. It's a different thing. But Patrick Iwu has been arrested for armed robbery or for Yahoo. Come and I'm sitting there. Then you bring. Why did you? meanwhile behind the back have been come. If you don't say this, when the pressman leaves, what happens? Do they know what they go through? Just look at the Chidinma case, for instance. And at the end of the day, when the lady walks out the whole world will be shouting, now bring it down to the judiciary. Just because police muddled up the whole thing. Both the investigation, they were quickly, they went to the press, they paraded the young girl, but then investigation afterwards, the matter is still in court, so I can't say much.
So is it ignorance on the part of the general populace that people are not really knowing this? Because I know over the years it's been a practice.
The commissioner of police that parades them, is he an ignorant man? The average policeman there who does that, they ignorant. You see, the police itself have abandoned their responsibilities. They no longer investigate. There used to be a time when I was growing up, in fact, the average man selling vendor, bringing vendor to your doorstep every morning is a detective. But do we do it anymore? All they need to do, they just get hold of you, take you to Baba Elewero, make you to prostrate before, and then you know what happens next. So that's the problem.
So that doesn't really need a constitutional amendment to change. So when people are not being punished for this, you talked about it, that it's not really needed, and it's basically because they are not getting punishment for what they've done, and both the media and of course the police as well. So how do we move to the point where people start to pay for the crimes they have committed?
You see, the point I'm trying to say is those things are not constitutional issues. Are you with me? They are covered by the criminal law, the criminal justice system. Now, what is a constitution? A constitution is just a document that regulates the conduct of between the state and the citizens. And then that provides the arms of government and guides how these things are to be done. That is just the only thing the constitution does. Now, look at the constitution of US. You can Google it, it's not even up to 10 pages. The Constitution of the United States of America, it's not up to 10 pages. But how many pages do we have? Our own Constitution is even almost next to the Constitution of India, that is over 400 and something pages. Because under the Indian Constitution, even the court rules of High Court are embedded in their Constitution.
Another important amendment that is being looked into is the extra seat for women. They talked about 111 seats. For women in the Senate, and of course in the House of House of Representatives. So I don't know what you feel about that.
See, the whole thing is now becoming comic. Do you put such things in the Constitution? They're more like action plan.
Okay.
The government does. It does not need to be in the Constitution.
But what they are saying is that. According to
what
the bill,
another
senatorial candidate will be made mandatory for each state. That's 36 states, including the Federal Capital Territory, I guess, making 37 for the upper chamber. And of course, that of the lowest chamber will also have this, and that it is a must that person must be a woman. That means we have 4 from each state. I don't know if that sounds really interesting.
It's ridiculous, for goodness sake. It's ridiculous. You see, it contravenes even the Constitution itself.
Okay.
You understand? There is gender equality between sexes. So I've not seen a situation where a woman wants to contest but most times it's even the women that are inhibiting themselves. Yes, all this cultural, in Africa, you see, I have to take care of, no. Let the women folk come out.
Okay. So encouraging women participation, because a lot of people are really saying that it will mean that we'll be spending more if such bill eventually gets to the final stage. We'll be spending more. We also complain about the paucity of fund, and of course I think that's also reasonable to argue.
I don't agree with it.
Well, I understand where Siemens is coming from.
No, I do not. I really do not support it. Because I'm a woman, sir, because I'm a woman doesn't mean I don't support that. If there will be a seat for women, we should fight for it.
Barrister, as we're going on this interview, then it means that Wike could actually be right in the long run.
I said it earlier, but being an insider, and you know one very funny thing, I've come to love Wike. He's bold, he says it the way he sees it. So he's not the kind of politician that rants. And once he's talking, listen to him. Yes. Governor Nyesom Wike. He's not my favorite, but I've come to like him. For one thing.
Are you sure he's also not the 2023 presidency?
In all honesty, we need such men.
Okay.
We need such men. The likes of Nyesom Wike, the likes of Raji Fashola. I don't know why they
Fayose.
Fahu. His openness is on a comic level. We are talking about men that will tell you what they will do and they will do it. I don't share that.
Anyway, we want to thank you so much for your time this morning, Mr. Practitioner, for having our time this morning to discuss this issue with us. We're looking at issues in constitutional amendment exercise in Nigeria, and it's really getting a frenzy, and we hope this will really take the country to a promised land. Thank you so much once more for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll take this break now. When we come back, it will be time for another discussion on the program, New Dawn on the People's Step. Stay with us.